In week 2, lesson 2, we're going to talk about percents. In your key idea, it says a percent is a rational number that can be written as a fraction with a denominator of 100. The symbol percent is used to show in percent. You can change a fraction or a decimal to a percent. So in the first box, it shows if the denominator is 100, the numerator is the number you will use for the percent. So if the denominator is already 100, the numerator is the number you will use as the percent. So 15 over 100 is going to equal 15%. If the denominator is not 100, write an equivalent fraction with 100 as the denominator, then write the fraction as a percent. So for example, if we have 3/4 and we're trying to make this into a percent, you have to think of a number that 3 and 4 both have in common. Or what could you multiply your denominator by to get to 100? So that's another way you could think about it. So if you multiply the top and the bottom by 25, because 4 times 25 would get us to 100, and you multiply the top, that's 75 over 100, so that's 75%. It says use the digits in the decimal as the numerator, use the last place value as the denominator. So if you are given a decimal, you would use these digits for your numerator, and then your denominator would be 100. So let's take a look at the two grids here. It says write a fraction as a percent to name the shaded part of each grid. So both of these grids are out of 100. So my denominator on both of them is going to be 100. And then you would just count the shaded parts. So by shaded, you would count in all of the orange squares on both. So on the first one, there are 26 shaded in. So I have 26 over 100. So my denominator is already 100. So we just go by the numerator. So this would be 26%. On number 2, there are 61 boxes shaded in. And my denominator is already 100. So this would be 61%. So if it's already over 100, it's pretty easy. The next part says write a percent to name the shaded part of each rectangle. Okay, so our top number is going to be our shaded parts. Our bottom number is going to be total parts. So there are 3 parts that are shaded. There are 10 parts altogether. So now we're going to take this fraction and make it a percent right here. Okay, so think 10. We're going to look at the denominator. 10 times what would get us to 100? Well, I know that 10 times 10 would get us to 100. So 3 times 10 is 30. Now I have 30 over 100, so that would be 30%. And you do need a percent sign with these. On number 4, I have 2 shaded parts and I have 5 total parts. So I have 2/5 and I'm trying to find my percent. So 5 times what gets us to 100? So 5 times 20 gets us to 100. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom both by 20. And 2 times 20 is 40. 5 times 20 is 100. So 40 over 100 would be 40%. On the try this, let's take a look at the ones that are all out of 100 because those are going to be our most easiest ones. So let's start with those first. So if it's already out of 100, you are just using the numerator as your percent. So we're turning each fraction into a percent. So 3 over 100 would be 3%. 21 over 100 would be 21%. 87 over 100 would be 87%. 9 over 100 would be 9%. 51 over 100 would be 51%. And 33 over 100 would be 33%. Okay, so on number 11, 1/2, we're changing 1/2 to a percent. So we have to figure out, well, how do I get 1/2 as a percent? And we're going to make and we have to get our denominator as 100. So what can I multiply the top and the bottom by? So another way, if you don't know what 2 times something equals 100, in your calculator, take 100 divided by 2, and that gets me 50. So I know that if I multiply the top and the bottom by 50, I'm going to get my denominator of 100. And 50 times 1 is 50, so 1/2 equals 50%. So on the ones that do not have the denominator of 100, there's going to be a few more steps. So 7/10, I'm trying to get 7/10 as a percent. So on this one, I'm going to take 100 divided by 10. And that is 10 over 10. I know that 10 times 10 is 100, and 7 times 10 is 70. So that is 70%. 1/5, take 100 divided by 5, and you get 20. So you're going to multiply the top and the bottom by 20. 5 times 20 is 100. 1 times 20 is 20. So 1/5 as a percent is 20. On number 14, we have 41 over 50. So I'm going to take 100 divided by 50, and you should get 2. So multiply the top and the bottom by 2. 41 times 2 is 82, so that would be 82 over 100, so that would be 82%. On the next part, you just have to write each decimal as a fraction with the denominator of 100, then write it as a percent. So the first direction, we're going to take 0.23. We're going to write it as a fraction, which would be 23 over 100, and that would be 23%. Number 16, 0.01. That's going to be 1 over 100, and that would equal 1%. Number 17, 0.65, that would be 65 over 100, and that would be 65%. Number 18, 0.99 is 99 over 100, and that would be 99%. And 0.3, this is in the tens place value, so it's not going to be 3 over 100, it's 30 over 100. And that would be 30%. On your practice page, I completed number 1 and number 2 for you already. Since the shading part would be difficult for you, I just went ahead and showed you what it would look like shaded. So you're going to start on number 3. So 3, 4, 5, and 6, those are out of 100. So those you're not going to have to do any additional solving. But on number 7, 9, 8, and 10, those you will have to do additional solving because those are not out of 100. So just remember, you're going to take your fraction and you have to get a denominator of 100. Okay, so think. 10 times what is 100? Well, if you don't know, take 100 divided by 10, and you should get 10. So now you're going to have 10 over 10. So 6 times 10 is 60, and 10 times 10 is 100, so that is 60%. And then on the bottom, write each decimal as a fraction with a denominator of 100, then write it as a percent. So these are all, you're going to make them as a fraction over 100. So 52 over 100 is going to be 52%. 0.84 is going to be 84 over 100 and 84%. The ones you probably need to pay attention to are 17 and 18 because of their place value.